Welcome to Uncovered Biblical History and Traditions, the channel dedicated to lost stories of the biblical past. Discover stories of pre-Christian historical roots, biblical legends, lost church history and forgotten historical characters of faith. It is very helpful if you hit the like, subscribe and share. Help build my channel and let's take a look together into these uncovered forgotten tales. What if I told you that buried in the mists of ancient Britain lies a treasure trove of wisdom so profound, it was forbidden to be written down for over 2,000 years? What if these teachings contained secrets about human nature, divine justice, and the very structure of reality itself, all organized into memorable groups of three that could revolutionize how you think about everything from personal growth to cosmic purpose? Welcome to the extraordinary world of the Druids, where knowledge wasn't just power, it was sacred fire, passed only through whispered words and committed entirely to memory. These weren't the Hollywood stereotypes of robed figures dancing around Stonehenge. These were sophisticated philosophers, scientists, and spiritual teachers who created one of history's most comprehensive educational systems, requiring decades of study and encompassing everything from mathematics to metaphysics. Imagine this, young Celtic minds spending 20 years or more memorizing over 20,000 verses of sacred teaching, none of which could ever be written down. The Druids believed that true wisdom lived in the mind and heart, not on tablets or scrolls. They shared this conviction with ancient Hebrews, Egyptians, and Spartans, all cultures that understood something we've forgotten, that knowledge engraved on the soul carries a power that written words cannot match. The Druidic educational system was remarkably sophisticated, requiring complete mastery of mathematics, geometry, medicine, jurisprudence, poetry, oratory, natural philosophy, and astronomy. But the most advanced subjects, natural philosophy and astronomy, demanded intensive, in-depth study because they contained the keys to understanding cosmic principles and divine order. But here's what makes the Druids unique: they organized their entire worldview around triads, groups of three principles that unlock the deepest mysteries of existence. These weren't random groupings. Each triad revealed a complete truth, a perfect balance that could guide everything from personal conduct to cosmic understanding. The Druids taught that all of existence springs from three primeval unities, and here's where it gets mind-blowing. They claimed that only one of each can exist in all of reality. One God, the ultimate source. One truth, absolute and unchanging. One point of liberty, where all opposing forces find perfect balance. As they put it, there are three primeval unities, and more than one of each cannot exist: one God, one truth and one point of liberty, where all opposites preponderate. From these three foundations, they proclaimed, three things proceed from the three primeval unities: all of life, all that is good, and all power. This wasn't just abstract philosophy, it was their understanding of how reality actually operates at its deepest level. The Druids observed that God consists necessarily of three things: the greatest of life, the greatest of knowledge, and the greatest of power, and of what is the greatest there can be no more than one of anything. This reveals their sophisticated theological thinking, God as the perfect unity containing all perfections. Their spiritual foundation rested on three core principles that defined their entire approach, the three foundations of Druidism: peace, love, justice. Everything they taught, every practice they engaged in, every decision they made flowed from these three pillars. They identified the three primary principles of wisdom: wisdom to the laws of God, concern for the welfare of mankind, suffering with fortitude all the accidents of life. Notice how this balances divine devotion, human compassion, and personal resilience, a complete approach to wisdom. The Druids established three duties of every man: worship God, be just to all men, die for your country. These weren't suggestions, they were fundamental obligations that defined what it meant to be fully human. Divine relationship, social justice, and ultimate sacrifice for community welfare. But perhaps most fascinating is what they discovered about human character itself. They taught, in three things will be seen the primary qualities of the soul of man: in what he may fear, what he would conceal, and what he would show. This psychological insight is remarkably advanced, suggesting that our fears, secrets, and public displays reveal our deepest spiritual condition. They even identified worthy objects of human affection. There are 3 men that all ought to look on with affection: he that with affection looks on the face of the earth, he that is delighted with rational works of art, and he that looks lovingly on little infants. These reveal different aspects of spiritual maturity: appreciation of nature, recognition of beauty, and tenderness toward innocence. For spiritual elevation, they proclaimed 3 things that make a man equal to an angel: the love of every good, the love of exercising charity, the love of pleasing God. This shows how human beings can transcend ordinary existence through love of virtue, love of action, and love of divine approval. But here's their most profound insight about human nature: a 7-level spiritual hierarchy that reads like a map of consciousness. In every person there is a soul. In every soul there is intelligence. In every intelligence there is thought. In every thought there is either good or evil. In every evil there is death. In every good there is life. In every life there is God. This suggests that every human being carries within themselves the potential for divine connection, but it depends on the moral quality of their thinking. The Druidic approach to justice was millennia ahead of its time. They understood that rewards or punishments are so secured by eternal ordinances that they are not consequences but properties of our acts and habits. In other words, the universe itself ensures perfect justice through natural law rather than external punishment. They taught a restorative approach. Except for crimes against society, the measure of punishment should be that which nature itself deals to the delinquent. Most personal failings should receive nature's own corrective measures rather than human intervention. But here's the revolutionary part: perfect penitence is entitled to pardon. They defined perfect penitence as that which makes the utmost compensation in its power for wrong inflicted, and willingly submits to the penalty prescribed. They even taught that the souls of all such pass on to the higher cycles of existence, suggesting that genuine repentance could accelerate spiritual evolution. The Druids mapped out systematic approaches to human development that modern education has largely forgotten. They identified the 3 foundations of learning: seeing much, studying much, and suffering much. Real wisdom comes not just from books or lectures, but from broad observation, intensive study, and learning through hardship. For sound judgment, they prescribed the 3 foundations of judgments: bold design, frequent practice, and frequent mistakes. Rather than fearing failure, they embraced it as essential to growth. You need courage to try new things, persistence to keep practicing, and wisdom to learn from errors. Even happiness followed their systematic approach: the 3 foundations of happiness: a suffering with contentment, a hope that it will come, and a belief that it will be. This reveals profound psychological insight. True happiness comes from accepting present difficulties while maintaining hope and faith about the future. Excellence in thought required the 3 foundations of thought: perspicuity, amplitude, and preciseness. Clear thinking, comprehensive thinking, and accurate thinking, a complete cognitive toolkit. They believed poetry, their highest art, demanded the 3 qualifications of poetry: endowment of genius, judgment from experience, and happiness of mind. Natural talent alone wasn't enough. You needed wisdom from life experience and emotional peace. Communication itself followed sacred patterns. Clear expression required the 3 canons of perspicuity: the word that is necessary, the quantity that is necessary, and the manner that is necessary. Say exactly what needs to be said, in exactly the right amount, in exactly the right way. Complete expression demanded the 3 canons of amplitude: appropriate thought, variety of thought, and requisite thought. Your ideas must fit the situation, include multiple perspectives, and cover all necessary points. The Druids taught that the universe is matter as ordered and systematized by the intelligence of God. It was created by God's pronouncing His own name, at the sound of which light and the heavens sprang into existence. The name of God is itself a creative power. They understood creation as fundamentally linguistic, reality spoken into existence by divine word. Even more remarkably, they taught that all music or natural melody is a faint and broken echo of the creative name. Every song, every natural sound, every musical harmony somehow reflects that original creative utterance. They proclaimed the 3 things God alone can do: endure the eternities of infinity, participate of all being without changing, renew everything without annihilating it. These represent uniquely divine capabilities, existing beyond time, being present everywhere without being affected, and transforming everything without destroying its essence. The Druids created an entire class called bards with remarkable privileges. The three primary privileges of the bards of the island of Britain are maintenance wherever they go, that no naked weapon be borne in their presence, and their testimony preferred to all others. These weren't just entertainers, they were protected wisdom keepers whose words carried supreme authority. These culture shapers had the three ultimate intentions of bardism: to reform morals and custom, to secure peace, and to celebrate the praise of all that is good and excellent. They were active agents of social transformation, peacemaking, and virtue promotion. But privilege came with responsibility. Three things are forbidden to the bard: immorality, to satirize, and to bear arms. They had to maintain the highest personal standards, avoid destructive criticism, and remain committed to peace. Their fulfillment came from the three joys of the bards of Britain: the increase of knowledge, the reformation of manners, and the triumphs of peace over the lawless. They found deep satisfaction in learning, social improvement, and the victory of order over chaos. What makes this ancient wisdom so compelling isn't just its sophistication, but its practical applicability. The Druids created a complete system for understanding reality, developing character, pursuing justice, advancing learning, and achieving spiritual growth, all organized into memorable triads that anyone could master. If you would like further context and the rest of the story, check out previous videos and future videos. If you would like more information where to research this subject, pause this image and look into these resources or find resources in description. If you have book sources or links of your own on this subject, please share in comments or email me. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this forgotten biblical story. Leave a like, comment, share and subscribe. This is very helpful. Join me next time for another lost story of our biblical history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.